mobile. So we always practiced that when we did martial arts, and when we did training, sword training, the things that were, I mean, I was doing it literally every few days, couple of days, 2 or 3 days. I'd be doing a training of one thing or another, and I would definitely utilize the forms I learned in the series, and I would constantly be working on something that would, okay, here's this punch. Okay, I'll take a knife and I'll try that. I'll take a sword, I'll try that. Or I'll take a weapon, I'll try that. And so that's the type of training I was always doing, which was moving from one type of discipline and exploring it. And I think that was the fun part of the training. Obviously, I had people like Bob Anderson and F. Braun McCash and Peter Diamond, who took me through different trainings during the filming, and their styles were all very different. And I mean, I had a lot of other martial artists that came on to they're the stunt coordinators, stunt professionals who had their own martial arts style. So I was always practicing with them, and I think that's the thing you have to do. You can't paint with. This is something my first teacher taught me, who taught me Hung Gar Kung Fu. He said you can't, and he was an artist. He says you can't paint with one color. You'll make one thing, but even then you still got shades of it. And he said, you have to paint with different colors, and you get those colors from different teachers and different things that you experience in life. So it applies not just to martial arts, but to life as well. We have to paint with many colors and create the pictures that we want to create. So I think it's important to understand that. And so I've tried to do that. I've tried to sort of take as many things, and it really worked into the character of Duncan MacLeod when I was playing him. The man's lived 400 years. We as people live 70 years, 60, 80 if we're lucky, 90 if we're luckier. And we have so many different periods of our life that are different. We experience different things. We have different emotions, etc. Imagine somebody that's 400 years old, 500, 600 years old, the amount of different variants that he went through, and you can see that now in the flashbacks, that there was a different guy slightly. He's still at core the same thing, but his wants and desires and ideas, etc., changed based on the environment he felt he was in, the culture he was living under. So it was something interesting to bring on a much larger scale than we do in our regular lives that span a much shorter period. All right, so I'm going to take another one. Are the Highlander memories going to be starting soon? Yes, absolutely. I'm just about to finish off the first season. They should be coming out to you very quickly. Those should be coming to you, those people that are on the Inner Circle. I hope you're enjoying it. Let us know what's going on in the Inner Circle. For those of you that don't know what it is, we do have the Highlander memories there. We have the Film Fight Insights. I've got a new one I'm just about to release. I also be releasing a travel vlog just for fun on the YouTube channel. So there's a lot of things that are coming out. Also, obviously, the Inner Circle people get first dibs at any of the events we have, any of the new videos we've got. We've just released, and I think this weekend we're now going out to those of you that have expressed interest in our Maryland event. That has just been launched. We were able to sort of get interesting people. We've got 3 or 4 different events during the day on the Saturday, which go from learning to cut. I mean, the whole event is really based on how would you like to be an action hero? How do you work from a reality place to a fantasy place and encompass all of that? So even when you're working with somebody that is as a choreography, you still have to make it look real. So in the reality, you have to understand how in reality that movement works. So we have different instructors that we're going to have at the event that's showing different things, as well as a movie night, as well as training with me, and a great dojo we've actually got on the property. We're working on meditative walks as well. This is a slightly different retreat than the Tulum retreat, which I just saw the video for. It looks really good, and it was interesting because I was able to shoot it all on an iPhone. I was testing it, and the quality is amazing. So those of you that came to the retreat, you're going to be getting that video very soon. So be on the lookout for it. Oh gosh, Priscilla Memrica said, "Can we get more details on the retreat?" Priscilla, yeah. So basically, the retreat will be 3 days. The first day will be a little training. It'll be a tour of the property. It will be a film fight insight evening with dinner that evening. That'll be the first night. The second day will be training in the morning, meditative retreat and training, breakfast, then going to one class, then another one, then another. So the first. We're working with JB, who some of you mentioned out of Maryland. He's going to be teaching the reality of how to be on the edge of reality with weapons. There'll be myself that will be doing the numbering system that you will learn during the day that will encompass what he's doing, as well as a class by Dylan Hines, who's a stunt professional, who's going to be working on the emotional content of putting a sword fight together. So there's going to be different types of people on that entire day. There'll be a sword cutting display to show how the sword would actually, the weapon moves. We will try and get some of you to actually participate in that as well. All the meals are free. All the drinks, apart from alcohol, is free. Is included. So we're trying to include everything in that. The last day will be putting all of that together in partner work. So everything that you've worked on in the first 2 days will then be put together in the last day, putting it with a partner, and then filming that particular portion of it. So it's a retreat that is going to be really focusing on this subject matter rather than what Tulum was, which was experiencing different cultures, foods, as well as training in various areas. So it's slightly different, how can I put it? Different aspects of this particular one. Okay, David's. I'm not sure how to say. Stiojo, I think is your name. Forgive me for mispronouncing it. Do I have any dream guests for the podcast? And can I get anybody bigger than Shatner? I'm sure there will be other people I'll be able to get, that will come on and I'll have a chat with. But it's I don't have dream guests. I just have people as they come along, because if I start going after people, we're trying to bring new people now. We've got a whole new slate of people we're going to be going after. Obviously, opening up the new year is going to be a little easier now. So we're looking at the different people that we want to go to, actors, etc., directors, stunt professionals, martial artists that have done some, interesting stuff, and it's time to move on to the next. But I'm not sure if I have a dream guest bigger than Shatner, but it was great to speak to him. And the interesting thing he said to me, he said, now he's 89 now, so he's getting up then, and literally about 3 weeks later he then goes up in space. And he said to me, he said, the hard thing now is the strength I have, and how, I'm not as strong to do things now. And I think that's something that is interesting to think of as you get older, that strength ebbs. And I think that's why doing certain amounts of training, it's not about weights, it's about mobility. It's about moving around, that you have to really sort of focus on. And but it's funny because I've met him a few times, and he looks at me, he goes, "Oh my God, hello, how are you? Who's the handsome man on the other side of the?" I said, "Gosh, are you kidding me?" I said, we haven't spoken that much, but thank you for that. And we had a great chat prior and great chat during the event, and so he's always, and that's what's amazing about the man. He's always got something going. He's got his new record coming out. He's going up in space. He's doing events. It was quite interesting to see that even when you're getting older, you can still do those things, or you still have the desire to do them. I think I'll be the same. I just don't think I'll stop. I just don't think I can. I can sit by a beach for a certain amount of time, and then I'm like, okay, now what do I do? I'm never the type of person to be on a beach where we're just sitting there just taking a relaxation. I have to be playing volleyball. I'll be going swimming. I'll be playing smash ball. I'll be doing something like that. So I'm an active person. All right, Sandy Turner. Have I been watching any shows or movies and any recommendations? Yeah, I watch a lot of movies actually. I just watched. You know, sometimes I look at documentaries. Lately, I've looked a lot. I've watched the F1 documentary on Netflix. That was really interesting. I've never been an F1 motor racing enthusiast, but the things that go on behind the scenes is very interesting. The way that, you know, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars being spent, and the loyalties are like, no, you don't do this, you're out. Let's move on to the next one. And the same with the drivers. They're like, well, if I can't get this in my career, if the car's not working, I'm moving on to the next. And it was really interesting to watch. I mean, you've got 20 guys. That's it. There's no more in around the world. There's only 20 of them that do Formula One, and usually they're very young. I mean, some of them, they're starting at 18 years old, 19 years old, and they're racing at 200 miles an hour. So, and some of the crashes there's one crash that happened, and the driver got out. Daniel, I've forgotten his name now, but they show the crash and how it exploded. And he was in the car for several seconds, before he got out, and he burnt his hand and that. But he was like, I can't race anymore. I've got a child and I've got a wife. I'm 31, 35 years old. It's time for me to stop, you know. And I think you get wake-up calls like this. So that was a really interesting program I looked at. There was another one I saw, which was oh God, I've seen so many lately. I have to go through my Netflix tab now. What was the other one? Alone, I think it was. It's. I like dramas sometimes. Last night I watched Will Smith in. It's an old movie though. It's called, oh gosh, what's it called?
Pursuit of Happiness.
No, not The Pursuit of Happiness. It's about Bright. And it's about this. It's kind of a fantasy. You know, he's a cop and he's living with orcs and stuff. And it was kind of fun to watch as a nonsensical thing. I also watched the thing about trainers, about different. And I've forgotten the name of it now. It's The Playbook. That's a documentary which highlights different people in the tennis world, in the basketball world, in the soccer world, etc., who are coaches, etc., and how they came up and what their ideology is on games and how they look at things. And I think it's really inspiring to see these people who have come from a very nothing really, and have built themselves up and become, you know, the masters of the game or of whatever sport they're playing in, and it's interesting to hear what their journey is and what their mindset is. So that was another good one. I also watched. I'm trying to think. I'll think about this later, and I'll go, oh, I should have said that one, because I've watched so many different things. I've watched The Witcher recently. You know, it's okay. I also watched. This was something, and I did this on my vlog. I mentioned this was the other one that Wheels of Time. Wheels of Time was. I couldn't really get into it. It was something I didn't realize it was a book series. Of course, everything is a book series these days. But Wheels of Time, it had interesting things in it, and I don't know. It kind of lost me a little bit somehow in some portions. They may do a second season, but I'm not quite sure if they do. Bones, what's it called? It was shot in Hungary.
Mortal Bones?
No, not Mortal Bones. Something and Bone. I've forgotten the name. It's on Netflix now. I watched that. That was kind of interesting. Again, a fantasy.
Shadow and Bone.
That was another interesting concept. This is funny because sometimes I can really get into certain things. I watched The King, which was a film, and that was a really interesting piece. It was a medieval piece. So I watched a variety of things, as you can see, just because I like getting different things at different times, and you know, the comedies sometimes are also fun to watch. But anyway, that's what I've been watching lately, and I will give you more because there's a whole slew of them I've been watching, especially over the Christmas time. What ones have you guys watched? What do you guys watch? Come on, you gotta have some recommendations. Maybe I can learn from you guys, which would be great. Joan Page, hello Joan. With all my projects, how do I plan work and family time? Does my team schedule for me, and do I head those decisions? Yeah, I head most decisions that happens. The way to schedule stuff is order importance. You know, time frame. I've got an audition I've got to do soon, which is a lot of work, and so I have to do that first. I've got to rewrite on a script I've got to do that I'm probably directing later in the year, and so which one do I do first? Well, which one needs to be done first is really what it is, and I have to look at a board. I actually sometimes have a whiteboard. I have two whiteboards in my office, and on my one in my other office, you know, it says, you know, I've got to do the travel log. I've got to finish this video. I'm going to do the Highlander audio, you know, which I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days. So I have it all listed, and then I go, I've got to do that. I've got to do that. I've got to, oh yes, you know, so that if I don't, I forget about it because there, as you mentioned, there are so many things, and I'm sure you guys have the same thing where you have so many different things, commitments to do. So you've got to put them in order of importance for you, your business and your family. You know, I one of the mistakes I made when I did Highlander, it wasn't a mistake. It was I wanted to do it, but the first 5 years of